Good afternoon, everyone. It looks like we saved the best team for last today. Luckily, this project is here in Orlando. Orlando's my community, is where Citronaut Construction was founded. So this isn't just another project for me. This is a great improvement for our community. This is where our future children will go, will attend for future generations, and this will create the future for higher quality education for all our future generations and to continue the improvement of our community in the city of Orlando. We have put together a plan that will answer the 4 main topics that are requested by the RFP sent out a few months ago. I'd like to start by presenting myself and my team. My name is Leandro Aguirre. I will be serving as the senior project manager for this project. I have over 15 years of experience managing projects. I have done a lot of work with schools, with a lot of academic buildings. I know what works and what doesn't, and I will make sure that this project is no different to the previous successes I've had in the past with my other projects. I would like to introduce my estimator, Isaac Joshua Barton. He will be serving as your senior estimator. I know this project is going to be a very special one for him, as he grew up in the Lake Highland community, and he graduated from the school himself. So this is very important for him, goes back down to his roots, and I'm sure he will give you the best price that you will ever get for this project. Also, I have Daniel Dominguez here. He will be serving as your quality control manager. He has ensured the quality, the highest quality in all my previous projects, all the projects we've worked on, and I'm sure that it will be no difference for this project. He will ensure that you have the highest quality project that you have had. And lastly, I would like to introduce Lucas Nakatani. He's our safety manager. He will ensure the safety of every single person on and off the site on this project, and he will ensure that no incidents occur throughout the construction of your project. Once again, I've been doing this for many years. I have managed several projects in the past, from projects that have similar structures with steel structures and glass exteriors to K-12 schools. I've done them all. I have had great successes. I have worked with Scholes & Coates architects. I have helped create their designs and their visions into a reality. Throughout these years, I have gained a lot of knowledge throughout the projects I've worked on. These knowledge that I've gained over the years, the experience, it helps me implement them on my future projects, ensure I continue to have a success, continue to build great projects, and there will be no exception for this one. All the work I've done through the past, it will give me the needed knowledge and experience to ensure that this project is delivered on time and on schedule and on budget. To ensure that this project is done on schedule, we have phased it out with 3 main phases. We will start by getting the structure erected, ensuring that this first phase of the project goes by smoothly. It's a very important task, as beginning a project quickly will ensure the flow throughout the rest of the project, and that's why the first phase is the most important. Overall, it will take us 445 days. This was the projected timeline for this project to be completed, but I'm sure with our capabilities, we were able to do it in a quicker time than that. Once we have the structure up, getting the exterior built out, putting all the glass in, that is a very important task. Once we get that done, then we can go into the final part of getting the interiors built out. Here we have our site logistics plan. As we can all see, this is a very tight site. There's not much availability for our work on there. So we have done a lot of strategic planning to ensure we make the best use of the site available to us. We have our crane right in the center, which will help us get the building up. That will be done. The crane will be installed after consulting with our crane experts. They will ensure that it is put up right. And as soon as the structure is up, it will be removed to give us more space to work. With the limited availability on the site, we have our parking will be done on the Anderson parking lot, which is also owned by the school, and they have given us permission to use that as our parking. We will have buses transport our workers from the parking site to the job site. And another thing that we'd like to point out is that our truck routing for all of our equipment and deliveries will all be done to the northwest of the project, keeping the traffic flow for the trucks north side of the project. We do not want to disturb the community while we build this new building. And since in the south part of Highland Avenue, where Mark Street is, we know a lot of parents like to go there to drop off their students. There's kids walking across the street to get to the school. And we wouldn't want any of our trucks or any of our work to impede their daily activities. And that's why we're making sure that all our trucks stay to the north of the job site. Now I would like to hand it off to Isaac Joshua, who will talk more about the cost of this project.
Thank you, Leandro. All right, so this project is a flagship for us, being this is in our hometown. As ABC members, we heavily believe in doing projects with high ethical and moral standards, to do it safely and to do it profitably for the betterment of our community and also the betterment of our families. As mentioned earlier, I am an alumni of the school, so it's personal for me. And our desire for this job is to really do something wonderful and build upon our community. And we're thankful for this opportunity. Now, getting into that, our guaranteed maximum price is $22,862,903. That is $320 a square foot. Now, the way we're able to guarantee that price is because we are local. We also know the different contractors, subcontractors, and people within our area to guarantee the best price for this job.
Thank you. Now, Daniel will talk about how quality will be ensured throughout this project.
I am here to provide quality, and I have 3 standards. I'm committed to quality, I want to exceed quality standards, and my experience in quality. Whether it be the steel and making sure that it meets all the specifications and coincides with the drawings, or whether it be the people cleaning up the job site, I want to deliver a quality project. So my thorough review of the specifications and drawings is what has helped me and led me to provide quality projects in the past.
Thank you. Now Lucas will talk about safety throughout the process.
When it comes to safety, we usually think about only the people who are working inside the job site. But for this project more specifically, we also have to consider whoever is attending the campus and the entire community of that area. Guaranteeing the safety of the people in those 3 groups is what will guarantee the safety of the overall project. To do so, we have established guidelines that we are going to implement to make sure that all the safety standards are met. Those guidelines were previously used as well on the projects that were shown by our project manager, and we believe that by implementing them again, we can also achieve a zero incident work site. I say that we're going to implement a similar guideline because we cannot simply just use a previous one and say that, okay, we're gonna do this for the job. We do that, so the reason behind the word similar is because work sites, they are dynamic. So we have to adapt to what we are going to be working with, the risks that were gonna be presented to us. In this way, we are prepared to deal with any safety issues and anything that comes up. One example of a major risk that we might have to deal with is the fact that we were working on an active campus. We have to consider that there are people on the other side, and to do so, and to deal with it, we're going to be implementing a guideline where to put a double fence and have a 25-foot buffer to separate the work site from the school areas. In this way, we're not disturbing any of the school activities that are going to be done throughout the duration of our project. And as a last note, we have our EMR score of 0.063.
Once again, we're not building just a building, we're building our community. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We certainly appreciate the presentation. And, you know, we have heard from a lot of firms today, a lot of outstanding construction strategies, some competitive estimates, and commitments to quality facility and safe construction process. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of identify what's a key differentiator for the value that Citronaut brings to this project.
Thank you for your question. I'll allow Isaac Joshua to answer this one.
Okay, so one of the key things that we at Citronaut Construction bring to this project is because we are local and because of our local connections within our community, we can guarantee our pricing and also our lead times, which will help prevent scheduling overruns and also prevent any possible price changes. And also because of our connections within our local community, that's how we're able to guarantee a price at $320, which is far below the normal for a typical building of this magnitude, which is around $350 a square foot. Does that answer your question?
Thank you, it does.
So you have such a close connection to the community. You're an alum. How do you plan to incorporate not just the staff of the community, but the students, right? Construction's very interesting. You're going to be making a lot of noise, creating a lot of dust. There's a lot of big, cool things to look at. It's a K through 12 school. Do you have a plan to actually incorporate the students and faculty into your construction process, or is it going to be a closed wall, don't look, don't touch, you can come in when you're done type of building?
Thank you for your question. So as the project is being built, like when we reach certain milestones, specific ones, we would invite the school if they would like to just have the students from outside view what's going on, give them a little explanation of how we've been doing the work and just getting them to know what is going on there and what the expectation is once the building is done, and just to give them an idea of how big this is going to be for the school to help them reach more goals. And this is going to be a future facility for some of the students, like the young ones, they're going to be able to use in the future once the building is done. So we'd like to, like, as the building is being created, have them see what's going on and inform them of the different methods we use, just to like spike their interest in it and give them a better understanding of what's going on behind the fences. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to add to your question as well, because when it comes, for example, to safety, we're going to have to communicate with the school. Communicating with the school to let the students know, the parents know of everything that we were going to be doing within that area. It's also like a way that I see to incorporate what we are going to be doing to the school, because they have to be aware. They cannot simply just get close to the fence or try to jump or enter the facility. So this is a way that I believe that we could also bring the students closer to it by instructing and communicating with the school.
I have a question regarding your estimate. What considerations were made for escalation? I don't see anything below the line. Is it included in the line items, or, you know, what was considered between now and the time when the project will start?
Thank you for your question. I'll have our grade estimator answer that.
All right, so earlier on during the RFI process, we did ask for clarification concerning if we are to include escalation within our bid. We were informed not to, so that is also why it's mentioned in our clarifications and assumptions that escalation was not included, because that was what was required. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Going through your milestones, I know you mentioned it earlier, but your current project final completion is currently trending for December of '24. We're looking to have our kids start the fall school year if possible. Is there anything, or I guess if you could identify 3 things that could potentially be pulled up in the schedule for the students to start in fall. If you guys could touch on that.
Thank you for your question. One thing we could do, since there's a very lot of glass on this building, and that's one of the main things of getting it dried in, getting closed in, what we could do is, so we're self-performing a lot of the glass. We can also hire a subcontractor, have several crews working on the glass at once, getting two sides of the building instead of just one done at the same time. That could greatly reduce the time that we're facing and get more stuff done, more time and less time, and be able to finish the project sooner and allow them to open it by the time that August and the semester starts. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
So, I've got a quick question for you. So, when you said in your presentation that as soon as you top out with the structure, you're going to be removing the tower crane, how does your firm intend on installing the curtain wall?
That's a very good question. So we have aerial lifts and that we have around the project. We have mobile cranes that don't necessarily need like a foundation. They can be easily moved around the job site. We can use those to help lift up the glass and install it in the building.
So you're going to be using a support crane to install the glass from the outside?
Yes.
Got it. Got a question for you guys regarding the estimate. Flipping through it yesterday, I noticed you guys didn't have any dollars for bond. Are you guys expecting to be a bonded company? And if so, are we going to be paying for that as well?
That's a good question. I'll hand it over to Isaac Joshua.
Concerning the bond, we intentionally did not put a bond issue onto this because we are fully capable and prepared to get the job done as per the estimate. So we did not see there was a required need for a bond issue. If there is a desire for the owner to have us have a bond, that would not be a problem as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As the owner, we're pretty excited for the glass wall system. What are you guys going to do from a QC perspective to ensure that it's a watertight system?
Thank you for your question. I'll hand it over to Daniel to answer that.
So I have created many forms over my career for quality inspection, and I'm going to also be referencing my specs for each quality test that I run when being installed and after installation.
So this project is not only closely adjacent to the existing campus, but also Lake Highland. And since you all natives of Orlando understand that there's lots of fun things that live in fresh water in Orlando and in Central Florida. So I was curious if you had any plans for additional provisions outside of, or in addition to SWIP plans, to make sure that during construction, the lake and the environment's protected, as well as the construction workers.
Thank you for your question. So we do have our site fence we'll be separating our job site from the lake, and we will have other provisions set in place to ensure that the lake is not disturbed. We will have routine inspections throughout that side of the project to ensure that nothing is contaminating the lake. And we also plan on building a retention system at the beginning of the project to ensure that no water is coming out of the lake and onto the site, the system will keep the water on the lake and keep it from getting onto the site or anything from the site going onto the lake. Ensure it's nice and clean and it doesn't get contaminated or disturbed by our work. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
I have a question that also involves the adjacency to the lake. I see that you are not carrying any money for dewatering. With the water table being so high there, what do you anticipate doing when it comes to digging foundations and other deep, anything across the site?
Thank you for your question. I will hand it over to Isaac Joshua to answer that.
All right, now concerning the dewatering process, as per what the geotech reports that were released, and as per what we received in the RFP stating that the groundwork would be pad ready for us to do all of our site work and do the construction on, we went under the assumption that as per the recommendations from the engineer, geotech engineer, that the site would be ready for us to build and that includes reinforcing the site due to its location in a sinkhole area, and also due to the fact that the water table is high. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Along the vein of environmental factors, can you speak to how you've accounted for weather in your schedule and how you can ensure that there won't be a critical path delay due to weather?
Thank you for your question. So we have our schedule set to where we would have most of the structure completed at a time when hurricane season comes. It will be already set up in place, and as we've seen, when the rains usually come in the evenings, a lot of our work will be done in the mornings. So by the time that the evenings come, when the rain starts coming, a lot of our work will be done for the day, and we do have safety measures set up so that when it does rain, or there's hurricanes or something comes, it won't damage our work that we have done so far. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any thoughts or practices in place to move the schedule to the left through pre-manufacturing or anything innovative that you would like to bring to us that might help us, get this thing done just a little bit sooner?
Thank you for your question. So we have a great network of subcontractors and suppliers here in Orlando. Since we are local, we have been working here for years. We can speak with our suppliers and have them fabricate and ship our material at a sooner date, and that way we can start working on it quicker as it arrives sooner than when we had anticipated. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Shifting gears over to processes, can you speak to how you plan to manage the submittal process?
Yes, thank you for your question. I'll let Isaac Joshua answer that one.
All right, so concerning all submittals, as we all know, the general chain of command is the contractor sends the submittal, depending on the type of submittal, to the architect, the engineer of record, and the architect is the one who mainly interacts with the owner. So for concerning all submittals, as per our quality assurance and everything, as the materials come to the site, it will be documented and recorded, all the information concerning the materials, picture, written paper, the works in a clear form as specified in our proposal. Those documents will be sent over to the architect of record, if the engineer is required for checking, the engineer, and also the owner. And then per approval, those submittals will be returned to us, and we will go forward with whether installation or procuring different material. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
I got a question for you guys. I appreciate you guys giving us a competitive number. Being locals here, it's definitely a nice thing to see as an owner on a competitive price. But beyond just getting competitive prices from your local trade partners, have you guys been able to identify any value engineering opportunities that could also bring some cost savings back to the owner?
Thank you for your question. Isaac Joshua will answer that one.
Okay, value engineering. That's always the fun stuff, because that's where it's like, okay, do we really need 3 hinges to hold this door on, or can we do with 2? And for us, as per spec, as long as we seek to provide the best value for the owner. So as long as it is within the specifications for the job, we will find different ways to add value to the owner with value engineering. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
I think that rounds out our 15 minutes, and that's a wrap for the afternoon. So I appreciate your time and your presentation today.